All right. Welcome, everyone, to the premiere of TCU's biggest homecoming tour and biggest virtual tour ever. We are so glad you are joining us live tonight. For those who don't know, my name is Alex Boylan. I am the creator, executive producer, and host of the College Tour TV series. And, we've been going around. Each episode tells the story of a different college campus. And I can't say enough amazing things about TCU. The campus is unbelievable. The students are so fun, as you're going to get to meet this cast very soon. So I'm joined tonight by 5 TCU students featured in the show. We have Emily, a recent spring 2021 grad from Atlanta, Georgia, who's working here in the Metroplex. She earned her Bachelor's of Science in Strategic Communication and minored in psychology. Emily, please say hi to everybody.
Hi, everyone.
So good to have us here. And she's rooting on the Braves, which we're 50-50 if we agree with that or not. I'm from Boston. All right. Next, we have Brian. Speaking of sports, he's a sports broadcasting major who is minoring in business from Laguna Niguel, California. Ryan, say hi to everybody.
Hey, everyone. Thanks for joining.
All right. Anaya is a community scholar and journalism major, minoring in business. And she's from right down the street in Fort Worth, Texas. Anaya, please say hi to everyone.
Hey, all. Thanks for being here.
All right. And we have Erica, a STEM scholar, honors student, and computer science major, minoring in mathematics from Frisco, Texas. Erica, please say hi.
Hey, everyone. So glad you're on. Can't wait for y'all to see this.
Yeah, that's awesome. Paige is here. She was class president at TCU and is now graduated and working in the Big Apple in New York City. Paige, please say hi to everybody.
Hi, everyone. So happy to be here.
All right. And Colin is a journalism and theater major from Spokane, Washington, who will graduate this December. Colin, say hi.
Hey, y'all. Excited to be here.
All right, this is going to be a lot of fun. This cast, everybody, is like second to none. This might be like the best cast of all time in the College Tour. These are just awesome students. All right, so here's the plan. We're going to watch this 30-minute episode of the College Tour together very shortly. So while we're watching, we hope you comment along the way with your reactions and questions. We've got people joining from all over the place. So when you are commenting, please tell us where you're watching from. I saw people coming in from, we got Uganda. Terry's coming in from Uganda. I saw a lot of San Diego. We know Southern California loves TCU. Where else? We got Houston. So we saw Detroit in there. So we got people from all over the world, which is really exciting. And you're all going to love this episode. I know we have alumni joining us tonight who may want to see what the campus looks like today, as well as students and family who are in the process of applying to colleges. And it's also homecoming week at TCU. We all got a little shout out to that. Pretty cool. This can be a stressful time choosing where you'll spend the next 4 years, but our hope is creating this series was to make the process a little easier. We love telling stories of real students on campus and giving you all a chance to see more colleges from the comfort of your home. So without further ado, we're going to premiere TCU's amazing episode of the College Tour for you now. Please, everyone, sit back and enjoy. After the show, we're going to answer your questions. So please comment as you watch. So these amazing students, this incredible cast here, can answer those when we get back. So enjoy the episode, and we'll see you when we get back here. Welcome, everyone, to TCU. This beautiful campus radiates an undeniable energy, from student school spirit to warm welcomes. Located here in Fort Worth, Texas, one of America's largest cities, the surrounding community provides internships, jobs, and endless entertainment and culture. I'm your host, Alex Boylan, and over the next half hour, we're going to travel around this amazing campus to meet real students going to TCU right now. The passion and energy these students have is limitless. So buckle up for a great episode, everyone. Welcome to TCU. This is the College Tour. All right, everyone, let's head over to the Schollmeyer Arena to meet Allison. She's a junior majoring in child development, and she dances with the showgirls on game days. So she can definitely tell us about athletics and school spirit. Allison, hit it.
Thanks, Alex. Hey, everyone, and welcome to TCU. One of my favorite TCU sayings is that we have a small school feel with big school spirit. So you get the benefits of attending a small university. You don't have to miss out on any of the exciting traditions or atmosphere that come along with game days. Here at TCU, Horned Frog Pride radiates throughout the campus. Speaking of Horned Frog Pride, I always like to say that game days are the best days, and there are tons of ways to be involved. As a member of the TCU dance team, better known around here as the TCU Showgirls, is the greatest honor and privilege. I just finished my rookie season on the team, and it has been an incredible experience filled with hard work, sisterhood, and of course, tons of dancing. As a showgirl, my game days are an up-close and personal experience. During football season, we start our days at the beautiful Frog Fountain. Here we get to see our friends and family and take lots of pictures. From Frog Fountain, we begin our parade into the stadium. Then it's game time. There is no better feeling than stepping onto the field wearing our iconic Justin boots and gorgeous uniforms. Watch closely. You may notice that we make up to 3 uniform changes a game. The excitement and adrenaline in the Amagi Carter Stadium is a feeling like no other. Looking up into the stands on game day fills me with such excitement and pride. And the best part of it all is that I get to dance and cheer alongside my best friends. Some of my favorite game day traditions include our Riff Ram cheer, singing the alma mater, and high kicks. High kicks are big in Texas, so when the Horned Frogs win, we kick for each point scored. While football season is an incredibly exciting time, the fun doesn't just stop there. You'll also find the showgirls dancing and cheering at basketball and baseball games, as well as community events. So no matter what time of year it is, there is always a game to see, and we love to see the stands filled with Frog fans. TCU is proud to compete at the highest level of NCAA Division I sports as a member of the Big 12 Conference. Our student athletes excel not only in their sports, but in the classroom and in our community. So on game days, whether you find yourself on the field or in the stands, there's a place for you here at TCU. As always, go Frogs, and back to you, Alex.
Allison, great job. It's so fun to hear about game days on campus. I can feel the excitement of the student section cheering on the Horned Frogs. Thanks again for that. That was awesome. Cheers, Allison. Okay, everyone, let's head over to student housing and meet Anaya. She is a sophomore majoring in journalism and minoring in business. She's gonna share her story about growing up right here in Fort Worth and find a campus community she never thought she'd make in her own backyard. Okay, Anaya, it's all yours. Please take it away.
Thanks, Alex, and welcome to Texas, y'all. Now, to give you the best picture of what your time at TCU might look like, I wanted to walk you through my first year here. Now, I'm from Fort Worth, born and raised about 15 minutes from TCU's campus. My elementary school is walking distance from my current residence hall, and my high school graduation ceremony took place at our basketball arena, so I've kind of been a Horned Frog for life. But it's for that reason I actually didn't want to come to TCU. My mom booked us a tour anyways, and what do you know? I fell in love with the campus. TCU is relatively small, but they really lean into that community by placing a large priority on students making friends and establishing support networks. My first friend was made at summer orientation, a football player who danced with me at the late night dance party. The second friend I made here was a girl from Nevada who was joined at my hip during frog camp. And my third friend was my roommate Grace, who I didn't even meet until move-in day. All students live on campus their first 2 years, and the residential communities are super tight-knit because they're not just a place where we lay our heads at the end of the night. They really are a home with laundry services, tons of storage, theaters, and arcades. I could watch Ron Cobb's in the lobby or play Ultimate Frisbee in the lawn. My entire first year experience was marked by TCU creating environments that helped me engage with others, which is integral to emotional support, social development, and establishing those professional networks. Faculty get involved too. The Sunday before my first day of classes, I had dinner at the Director of Family Programs house with a group of other first years. We ate tacos, played with her dogs, watched some football, which is not only the most Texan welcome you could get, but also a really powerful testament to just how much TCU cares about and supports us personally. It's just so much easier to ask for help if you're on a first name basis, or get a job recommendation in your field if you have your professor's cell phone number. My professors know my name, they know what I made on my last test, they know when I missed a class, and I know that here, they'll take interest in my education as if it's their own. TCU's connection culture is one of a kind, making sure every student is well-informed and well-equipped with whatever they need to enter the workforce and the world. It's why I don't mind being just 15 minutes away from mom anymore. Well, that's my story. Thank y'all for letting me share. Back to you, Alex.
Anaya, thank you for taking us through your experience at TCU. I'm jealous of all the activities you have going on here. Sign me up for that ultimate frisbee. Thanks again, Anaya. Take care. All right, everyone, pull on your boots and get your appetite ready. We're heading off campus to the historic Stockyards with Ryan. He's a junior majoring in sports broadcasting and minoring in business, and he's gonna tell us about Fort Worth culture, food, and opportunities for students. Take it away, Ryan.
Thanks, Alex. Hi, y'all, and welcome to TCU in Fort Worth, Texas. TCU is a beautiful campus with so many opportunities for its students. I'm from California, so one of the biggest things that drew me to TCU was its location. When I first visited, I felt surrounded by Southern hospitality, which is a very real thing. People on campus and in Fort Worth are so genuine and kind, and they make TCU students feel like we're at home. Fort Worth, Dallas, and the surrounding cities make up one of the largest metropolitan areas in the nation, which is one of the reasons why so many undergrads hold internships while they're here. Most majors recommend or require an internship, and Fort Worth is an ideal location with an abundance of opportunities. Local companies love to support TCU with student internships. Now, Fort Worth is constantly modernizing and growing, so there's something new and exciting for everyone to experience. When my parents come visit me, I'm pretty sure they're really here to try the food. Texas is known for their food, and TCU allows students to use money from their meal plan off campus. Fort Worth is home to the famous Stockyards. If you want to experience Texan culture and history, this National Historic District is what you're looking for. Here, you can try barbecue and Tex-Mex, watch one of the twice daily cattle drives, and even buy a pair of stylish cowboy boots. The Stockyards is also home to the iconic Billy Bob's. Sundance Square is another perfect spot right in the heart of downtown Fort Worth. With endless food and entertainment options, you cannot go wrong. If you come to Fort Worth, you have to visit the Fort Worth Zoo. Because it's located right down the road from campus, it is a super convenient place for student internships and a fun day with your friends. The zoo just opened a new Elephant Springs, which is a joy to see. They're also successfully breeding the endangered Texas horned lizard, which happens to be our mascot. Now, how cool is that? In all, Fort Worth is such an amazing place. I hope you come visit and stay a while. Thanks for letting me share. Now back to you, Alex.
Ryan, thank you for giving us a tour around Fort Worth. I can't wait to try some barbecue and Tex-Mex and visit some of the amazing places you just took us to. Thank you for sharing your story with all of us. We appreciate it. Take care, Ryan. Okay, everyone, now it's time to pick up the pace because I don't know how this next student has time to catch her breath. Her name is Erica. She's a sophomore, computer science major and mathematics minor. She DJs at the campus radio station, studied abroad in Panama, and chartered her own sorority. Erica, please fill us in on the experiential education you can expect at TCU.
Gracias, Alex. I came to TCU because of the genuine connection I felt to the students, faculty, and staff that I met on the tour. But what keeps me here is the passion and pride that everyone has for what they do. Reaching out or sending a simple email has given me so many opportunities, from studying abroad in Panama as a freshman, to being a chancellor's host and wearing a cool purple blazer, to volunteering around Fort Worth or facilitating frog camp, or being a DJ at our KTCU radio station, just to name a few things. There is always an open door for new opportunities. We even have an idea factory that supports innovations dreamed up by our students. The only real limit is the 24 hours in the day. TCU has allowed me to take classes that challenge me to think critically about societal issues, historical perspectives, and the surrounding community. I have developed meaningful connections with all of my professors, and they guide me as my mentors. As a STEM major, I have access to so many resources to explore my research interests, do community service, or grow as a professional and as a person. Another highlight of my academic life at TCU is the John V. Roach Honors College. When I first toured, I heard that Bill Nye had just been a guest, so I wanted to see what the excitement was all about. I loved staying in the Milton Daniel Residence Hall and taking my honors classes. Here, I participate in meaningful class discussions and get to develop my own ideas about the world around me. Through in-class learning projects and service learning in the community, our academic programs foster an environment of understanding between individuals. There are so many ways to learn what you're passionate about at TCU. You might even make your mark by starting something new. You just have to ask. I hope you'll visit us and experience for yourself all that TCU has to offer, both in academics and beyond the classroom. Well, that's my take on some of the academic aspects of TCU. Now back to you, Alex.
Erica, wow, I'm impressed by your drive to not only follow a path, but your ability to chart your own paths right here at TCU. Thank you for sharing your incredible experiences with us. I can't wait to see everything you accomplished at TCU and in the STEM field. Take care. Okay, everyone, we're now heading over to the student newsroom, where Colin will tell us his personal story of career preparation, gaining on-camera experience through a program that supports students for summer internships. He's a junior, majoring in journalism and theater. We can't wait to hear what he's been doing and who he's had an opportunity to work with along the way. Colin, please take it away.
Thanks, Alex. Well, hi, everyone. You know, TCU actually wasn't on my radar when I was applying for college. In fact, I remember being a senior and getting a postcard in the mail from the university, and the postcard had an image on it of Frog Fountain on our campus. And I remember looking at that photo and thinking, gosh, this place is too good to be true. It simply can't be this beautiful. And after a quick Google search, I found that it was indeed a real place in Fort Worth, Texas, and they had nationally ranked programs in both of the academic departments that I was interested in. One of the things I love about TCU is that our professors often have industry experience before they teach. This is seen in both of my academic departments. One of my theater professors and mentors, for example, has been in an original Broadway cast and 2 Broadway revivals. And then in the journalism department, one of my professors is a respected editor and diversity coach for companies across the country. They, of course, bring a wealth of knowledge to the classroom, but they also open up a lot of doors for students in terms of their contacts. I couldn't forget to mention TCU's Internship Scholarship Program, which provides scholarships to students who are pursuing low-paying or non-paying internships during the summer months. I've actually been fortunate enough to receive this scholarship for the past several summers. 2 summers ago, in fact, I was an intern for a digital media station as their TV host. And then just last summer, I was an intern for professional summer theater in my home region, learning the inner workings of theater administration and business operations. And it's actually that experience that sparked my interest in pursuing a Master of Fine Arts in Directing after college, and ultimately becoming a college theater professor and/or theater administrator. Without TCU's support, I don't know that I necessarily would have found my calling to do that as quickly. Of course, TCU prepares its students for their careers through on-campus opportunities too. I've recently written and reported for TCU Student Media, as well as stage managed and assistant directed the university's musicals, gaining practical experience through it all. It is that practical experience that I know will serve me well in whatever I decide to do after graduation. I couldn't forget to mention TCU's Career Center, which actually assists students in preparing for their careers from their very first semester on campus. The best part is that this is a resource Horned Frogs can use for life. That's a bit about my story, Alex. Back to you.
Colin, that was great. I love that you're able to follow your two passions behind the stage and on camera, getting a chance to learn from professors with experience on Broadway. That is absolutely incredible. All right, thanks again for that, Colin. Take care. Now let's head over to the dance studio and meet up with Erin. She's a first-year honors student majoring in ballet and modern dance. She's gonna share her story of her exceptional first year at TCU and the university's ongoing work towards inclusive excellence. Erin, please take it away.
Hi everyone, I decided to come to TCU because of their amazing dance program. I visited the campus to audition for the school for classical and contemporary dance, and from the moment I stepped foot on campus, it felt like home. I was able to take class with some of the first-year dance majors at the time, and everyone was so nice and welcoming, which immediately stood out to me. So far, my experience has been great. Coming from Georgia with no familiar faces, I was nervous to be in a new environment. However, I love how open everyone is to meet new people, and I never feel intimidated to make new friends because everyone is so inclusive and accepting. Whether you are relaxing in the lobby of your residence hall or standing in the line for a meal, there will always be someone willing to talk to you and make your day better, from students to faculty and staff. I have had the privilege of co-starring in the Netflix original movie Dolly Parton's Christmas on the Square. It was such an honor to be able to dance, act, and see myself on the big screen. I hope to have many opportunities like that in the future, and I know TCU is a place to get me there. As an honors student, I am so pleased with how engaging the classes are. The professors are so nice, and they want to communicate and get to know you on a personal level outside of class, which is great. This year, I had the opportunity to live in Milton Daniel Hall, the residence hall for honors students. The facility is gorgeous, and it is such a comforting environment that encourages making connections with your peers while also placing a strong emphasis on academic excellence. One thing that I love about TCU is their efforts to make everyone feel welcome and included on campus. Bringing students from different countries and backgrounds together to find common ground, have a good time, and learn from one another is where TCU shines. There are events celebrating diverse voices, and a diversity, equity, and inclusion course was added to the core curriculum. Students who want to go deeper and broader can even major in areas like comparative race and ethnic studies or women and gender studies. Learning how to listen and discovering that we're more alike than we are different is an intentional effort that TCU builds into their student experience. You can't leave this university without being better at understanding others' perspectives. Lastly, because of TCU's emphasis on student involvement, there's a place for everyone. Overall, my first year at TCU has been great. I couldn't have asked to be a part of a greater community than my Horned Frog family. That's my story. Now back to Alex.
Erin, thank you for sharing your story. I love hearing about the welcoming campus culture and everything you've accomplished during your first year on campus. It's truly incredible. Thanks again, Erin. Okay, so let's meet Emily, a senior studying strategic communication and psychology. Emily is the perfect person to tell you how far she's come, not just to make her first visit to TCU, but to study and travel around the world, become a global citizen. Emily, let's hear your story.
Thanks, Alex. And hey, everyone. My time as a Horned Frog has been nothing short of fun, challenging, and an exciting experience. During my college search, I had a mental checklist of what I was looking for out of school, but no university seemed to check off everything on my list. That wasn't until my older sister told me about TCU. It seemed to offer everything I was looking for, so I decided to get over my fear of flying and travel to a campus 800 miles from my home in Georgia. After my visit, I knew this was the place I wanted to spend my next 4 years. So I made the best decision of my life and decided to call TCU my college home. TCU is truly a hidden gem. It has a small school setting with a big school feel. Not to mention it had my ideal major, a Greek system, Horned Frog school spirit, club lacrosse, and most importantly, the opportunity to study abroad. I had the privilege of studying abroad with the Bob Schieffer College of Communication to Scotland and London over the summer. I had the most incredible, immersive experience, taking classes relevant to my major while also incorporating a different cultural experience.
I took a case studies class, and all of our content and assignments were centered around the public affairs and current events of these two countries. This gave me the chance to learn more about the countries that I was visiting while also expanding my knowledge within my major. TCU emphasizes its students being ethical leaders and responsible citizens in the global community, and my time abroad is a perfect reflection of that. Being able to step outside of the US, learn more about a different part of the world, while also relating it back to my future career goals is definitely the highlight of my college experience. My friends and I got to go see the Edinburgh Castle and see the Crown Jewels, hike to the top of Arthur's Seat, see a Shakespearean show at the Globe, visit the University of Cambridge, and just fully immerse ourselves in the cultural experiences of Scotland and London. All of this culminated to the group of study abroad students becoming more than just classmates, but a strong group of friends that I will always value. I am so glad I got over my fear of flying to visit TCU. The schools allow me to grow as a global citizen with unforgettable experiences, both on campus and around the world. I wish I had all day to tell you more about my time abroad, as well as my time as a TCU student, but unfortunately I'm out of time. But thanks for letting me share a little bit of my story with you. Back to you, Alex.
Emily, that was fantastic. I'm so glad you got over your fear of flying to make all those amazing memories. Thank you so much for sharing your experiences here in Fort Worth and around the world with all of us. Cheers, Emily. Now let's head over and meet Court. He's a junior majoring in biology and minoring in business. He's an honors student on the pre-med track and is going to talk to us about the teacher-scholar model at TCU. Court, you're on, my man.
Howdy, everybody. I'm excited to share with y'all my experience as a student at TCU. I grew up just outside of Fort Worth, so I always had time to visit and fall in love with the city, from dancing at Billy Bob's to showing cattle at the Fort Worth Stock Show and Rodeo. What really sold me on coming to TCU, though, was the size and academics. TCU was the perfect size for me. It has the feel of a large university with competitive sports programs and extremely well-versed professors, but maintains all of the benefits and close relationships of a small school. My favorite part of classes at TCU is that they're taught directly by professors who make students their top priority. Through the teacher-scholar model, professors value building relationships with undergraduate students like me just as much as they do conducting research. Beyond having office hours each week where they're available to chat or answer questions, professors put in extensive effort outside the classroom. Not only does TCU offer ample opportunity to get to know professors, but you can work alongside them. When you walk down the halls of Sid Richardson and Winton Scott, the walls are covered with publications by professors and students alike. If you see publications that interest you, you can talk to that professor about their lab and apply to join, especially as an undergraduate student. TCU also takes a very active role in preparing students for their lives after graduation. As a student on the pre-health track, I took a 3-hour course to learn about the application processes to medical, dental, physician's assistant, and veterinary schools. I wrote essays required for the applications and received extensive feedback from multiple professors to ensure that I presented myself in the best light possible. I underwent mock interviews to practice my interview skills and better get to know my health professional advisory committee members who write letters of recommendation. Never have I felt lost or alone in the process of applying to medical school. I've also had so many great experiences at TCU outside the classroom, from director roles in first-year experience programs to executive member roles in student government leadership programs and many other on-campus organizations. All of my experiences and classes at TCU have taught me what it means to be a student and a global citizen. If you're looking for a university with a close-knit community of professors and students alike, I highly recommend you give TCU a look. Thanks for letting me share my story with y'all. Back to you, Alex.
Court, great job. That's fantastic. The experiences you have here with your professors and fellow classmates sounds amazing. Thank you again. Cheers, Court. Okay, everyone, it's time to meet Nand, an amazing international and transfer student who's literally traveled the world to get to TCU. He's a sophomore majoring in business information systems and finance with a minor in physics, and he's going to tell us about TCU's entrepreneurial spirit. Nand, please take it away.
Hello everyone. So I was born in India and I lived there for a few years before moving to Zambia in southern Africa. After finishing high school in Zambia, I really wanted to study abroad and move to America for college. I decided to move to a community college in Southern California. It was called Orange Coast College. And then it was time to transfer. I had a lot of friends who went to TCU, and I started having conversations with them about my possibility of transferring to TCU. After talking to the admissions office and watching a lot of videos about TCU, I immediately fell in love with the campus. I mean, the school spirit on campus was just unimaginable. Everything was purple. Purple boots, purple t-shirts, purple couches, purple flowers. Like, this was something that I had dreamt of as an international student in America, to be a part of this great institution. During the admissions process, I learned that there are great counselors at TCU who were helping me throughout the entire financial aid process. After transferring to TCU, my journey in the US took a whole different route. I started as a physics major in college because I thought that I was pretty good at math and physics in high school. But over time, I met so many students at TCU from all different parts of the world studying so many interesting subjects. I immediately realized that being good at something in high school might not necessarily translate into a career. The second closest thing that I would see myself doing is business. I was always amazed by the American corporate world and always dreamt about working in one of those downtown skyscrapers. One day after my calculus class, I went to the business school to see what majors did they offer. I decided to switch my major to business information systems. I've been in the business school for the last 1 year and I'm loving it. We're learning about real-world issues and coming up with solutions of dealing with them. As future global leaders, I feel like it's very important for us to learn about these issues in college, and TCU does a really good job at preparing students for the future, regardless of their majors. With the help of different programs at the Neely School of Business and my accounting professor's referral, I was able to receive an internship at a private equity firm in San Diego. TCU's alumni network is very powerful when it comes to finding job opportunities and just getting general mentorship about your career trajectory. I hope my experience helps you learn a little more about TCU. This campus is a home away from home, whether you're from India or from Fort Worth. Thanks for letting me share my story. What's next, Alex?
Nand, I love it. What an amazing journey you've made to get here. Thanks for sharing your experience finding a new home right here on campus. We appreciate it, Nand. Okay, everyone, now we're counting on Student Body President Paige to fill us in on leadership cultivation at TCU. She's a senior majoring in finance, and she's become the leader she is today through a campus network and culture that encourages lifelong learning and dynamic growth. Paige, you're on.
Thanks, Alex. As soon as I stepped foot on TCU's campus, I knew this place was like no other. Our community is incredibly engaged, and all of our students are involved and self-motivated. In addition to classes, the average student is a member of at least a couple student organizations. Whether they be Greek, academic, cultural, or volunteer in nature, there's a place for everybody. TCU aims to cultivate not only well-rounded students, but also world changers, and there are countless opportunities for leadership on campus. For instance, as a first-year student, I knew next to nobody. I was able to make friends that would go on to be leaders all across campus at my frog camp in Berlin, Germany, which was also my first time ever in Europe. These relationships have been invaluable to me, and every opportunity that I've had at TCU has only opened up more chances for me to make friends and to challenge myself. I have served in a variety of leadership positions, both on campus and within our community, and after 4 fantastic years, I've had the opportunity to serve as the student body president. I am so grateful for the opportunities that TCU has given me to develop into a more ethical, compassionate, and driven leader. As a student, you can make a real difference on campus. One of the initiatives that I'm proudest of is the Community Commons. The pandemic hit universities hard, and first-year students especially had a difficult time making friendships and building community in a safe way. And so the outdoor living room was born. I've also had the opportunity to work with the Race and Reconciliation Initiative to develop the Unity Cord. All graduating students have had the opportunity to wear a Unity Cord, which is the physical embodiment of the strength, resiliency, and TCU spirit that we have all channeled to get through this year. I've learned the value of hard work and of perseverance, how to cope with failure, and also how to sell my ideas to others. This is such an exciting time in TCU's history. We're reconciling our past and stepping into an even brighter future. Coming to TCU will provide you the opportunity to become the very best version of yourself, all while making lifelong friends. Though my time as a student has come to an end, I am so excited to see what future generations of Horned Frogs are able to do with their time here. Back to you, Alex.
Paige, that was fantastic. Awesome job. Thank you for sharing with us your experience as a student leader. Congrats on all your accomplishments and good luck in your career. Thanks again, Paige. Okay, everyone, how amazing is TCU? I want to thank all the incredible students for generously giving their time today so all of you can learn more about what this university is all about. What a vibrant university set in a truly supportive community. This was so much fun. So unfortunately, that's it from me. Now it's up to you all to go learn more about what TCU is for yourself, and hopefully we'll welcome you all on campus real soon. That was a great episode.
All right, let's start off. I'm gonna go around the horn here. Anaya, what's up? How you doing?
Feel good, Alex. How are you?
I think it's so fun that you went, you lived right down the street and then you decided to come to TCU. So Fort Worth, this area better than maybe anyone. Talk about why, because I'd say it's such a great location. I mean, the campus is beautiful, but the location is really cool. Ryan, I know that's the segment that you did, but Anaya, why don't you talk from your own perspective of why you love this location and you decide to stay at home to go to TCU?
Well, I inevitably decided to stay home because it's like a hidden gem. Fort Worth sort of gives you the best of both worlds because it is a large city. It's like the 13th largest right now, but it still has a very personal, very small town vibe where, you know your neighbors. I'm in Fort Worth ISD, so the school district that I was in, I knew my friends from kinder on through when I graduated. So it's still a very personal place where you feel like you know everyone, but it's still in the backdrop of a large metroplex. So it's the perfect place in terms of jobs and post-grad opportunities, but also love my family. Of course, we didn't get to see my full segment, but they make an appearance at the end. And so being close to mom probably was the biggest advantage. Honestly, a blessing in disguise, especially on move-in day.
Well, I think it's important too because when you have like Fort Worth and Dallas, like just right there, it's cool when you go to school there because it's a big city, right? So it's going to hold a lot of the students. And I think that's important to think about is that when you develop all these relationships during college and university, and the fact that you'll always, whether you go on to some other city or you end up staying in town, you're always going to have this second home of your college. So I think it's cool when you're in a city that it's big enough to hold the student body, if that makes sense. So, all right, let's go over Paige, student body, Miss President, and now has got a big banking job in New York City. Why don't you talk about because there's an energy, everyone out there, of TCU students. They are overachievers with like big, bright personalities. And you feel that the second you step on campus. Being student body president, how would you describe the campus body and just the students at TCU?
Definitely. And I think that you really hit the nail on the head. When I was a prospective student, that was one of the first things I noticed. And I think that it's wonderful that 5 years later, it's the same exact way. I would describe the students of TCU as being passionate, driven, but also truly well-rounded people. And I think that that's one of the best qualities of a TCU student is we really encourage one another to get out of our comfort zones and get involved and be a part of multiple things on campus. I'm sure the other students on this call could speak to that. I mean, they're also very involved, but I think at a lot of universities, it is very normal to show up, go to classes, and check out. And at TCU, the culture is really just to buy in. And it, at least in my case, offered me opportunities to make friends that I still have to this day. And that Horned Frog spirit doesn't die. I'm in New York City, and I have to say it's been really incredible connecting with the TCU network up here. And we've done dinners and we've gotten together, and it makes a big city feel a little less big. You've got people from Fort Worth up here.
Oh, that's so great. That's so great. And we all are wishing you the best of luck in the Big Apple.
Thank you.
Ryan, how you doing, my man?
Oh, I'm doing well. I'm glad to be here. Glad we could do this.
Yeah, and when you guys will see in the episode that Ryan does the location segment. We got him on a bull. We got all kinds of stuff going on with Ryan. He's down at the stockyards. It's a great segment. Ryan, can you explain the Showgirls, right, and just the spirit organizations that what happens on game day? The football stadium at TCU is one. It's so beautiful. It's ridiculous. Ryan, can you talk about that experience? That'd be great.
Yeah, of course. So just gotta say that our stadium just got renovated, so it's even prettier than before. So you guys gotta come check that out at the least. But the Showgirls that you saw at the beginning of the episode, that's essentially our dance team, okay? So we have them, and then we also have our cheerleaders that perform at sporting events and other events across campus. And then we have these people called the Dutchmen that wear striped overalls. They're purple and white. They lead the student section during the sporting events, get us doing the Riff Ram chant and all that jazz. And game day itself is huge. Like TCU is always purple, which you'll hear Nan say later on in the episode. But on game days, it is literally all purple. Like you could go see grocery clerks wearing purple stuff, waiters, waitresses. Everyone around Fort Worth loves to wear purple on game days. And like, it's just always a thing. It's a part of the Fort Worth culture to be so pro TCU. And you got Frog Alley with tents and games for kids, Super Frogs walking around, taking photos. What I'm getting at is there's a lot of stuff going on game day.
So fun. And I'm jealous because there was I think you guys were playing SMU a week or two ago. I was trying to get to the game, but there's an energy that's it's so exciting on campus. Let's move over to Emily. Emily, you're graduated now. You want to tell everyone what you're up to?
Yeah, so I am living in Dallas currently. I work for a research and advisory firm in right outside of Dallas. I am an account manager there, and TCU's community, when it comes to career counseling and the career counselors that they offer, as well as our career center, really helped to launch this next phase of my life. And they were probably the most useful part of my senior year as I started to enter this new phase of life. As much as I miss college, I've really enjoyed living out here. Dallas is an awesome city, and I'm not too far away from the Horned Frog territory, which makes it even better.
Yeah, it's so great. And Emily's segment's so fun because Emily talks about, first of all, Emily, I don't believe, you never flew before coming to TCU, or you were scared of flying? And so she talks about being scared of flying, but then she gets these amazing study abroad experiences. And so that's what I want you to talk about a little bit, Emily. But yeah, for me, I love this because, I studied abroad. I lived in Brazil in high school. I lived in Germany in college. And I always say like those two experiences helped shape who I am. And so why don't you talk about your study abroad experiences? Because it's a magical segment, and it made me jealous when I was watching it. I wanted to go to England and Scotland experiences. So why don't you tell the audience a little bit about that and the study abroad programs at TCU?
Yeah, totally. So I wasn't the most comfortable flyer. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. So to get to Texas, I had to get on a plane. But after I toured, I knew that it was the most worth it thing to do was to get over my fear of flying so I could come to TCU. And that opened up such an amazing horizon of opportunities for me over the summer in between my sophomore and junior year. I studied abroad at the Bob Schaefer College of Communications, and we went to Scotland for the first half and then London for the second half. And it was just an amazing experience overall. We got to go to Arthur's Seats in Scotland, Cambridge University. There's so many adventures. And I wish you guys could have seen that segment, but take a look at it when you guys get the link for it, hopefully soon. So you can hear more about my study abroad adventures. But TCU offers a wide variety of locations you can go to, and you can also choose to go in the spring semester, fall semester, as well as the summer semester. So you have a whole range of opportunities to go whenever it works best for your schedule. And TCU's study abroad program also helps with scholarships in order to help you go to abroad, because they think it's a really huge part of who they are to be global citizens and well-rounded leaders, and studying abroad is a huge part of that. So I highly recommend doing it. It was probably the best experience of my life. My sweet family met me out there, and we just continued our adventures, but I got so close with the professors in the strategic communication program through that, as well as everyone else on our study abroad program. We are still talking to this day, sharing all those memories, and I wouldn't change it for the world.
It's so fun. And I'm jealous. Yeah. So when you come to TCU, prospective students out there, look into the study abroad program. It might change your life, like Emily. All right, Colin, how are you?
I am great. As we started the episode, I was thinking, gosh, I wish I had a series like this when I was applying to college, because that
I
would have
know,
been
right?
just so
Well,
helpful.
not to derail this, because this is all about TCU, but that's where this whole idea came from. My niece couldn't figure out where to go to school. She was only given one trip by my older sister. She came to LA, and then she was like, I want to go check out schools in Texas and New York and all these places. And then COVID hit. So between those two variables, while I was trying to help her figure out her path, fortunately, this is what I do for a living. I was like, higher education needs its own television show. And for the audience, I always like to say this, like, these are real current students. Well, some of you, Emily and Paige, you have graduated, but their stories are real. And so this episode, when you go watch it, we don't tell you what to say. Of course, we can help with the script, but like we start with the fundamental of like, what is their story? And so you're watching very authentic experiences. So thanks for bringing that up, Colin. That's I know. I say the same thing. It's like we always say, it's like it's the show we wish we had when we were in high school. So so Colin, you directed a play, if I'm correct, this past summer. You want to tell the audience about that?
Yeah, I did. Well, and I just directed a show for TCU this fall titled Wonder Women, kind of putting a spotlight on women throughout musical theater history on the American stage. And so that was an amazing experience to kind of have the university behind it and supporting it and producing that on campus. So that was really exciting.
Oh, that's awesome. And you're graduating soon, right?
Yeah.
What's next? What's next for you?
That's the question, isn't it? So I'm going to be moving home back to Spokane, Washington. And the goal is to go to grad school in the fall of 2022, this next fall, to pursue an MFA, a Master of Fine Arts in directing, because I do want to pursue that professionally. So I'm really excited.
Well, we're all wishing you the best of luck, and you have tons of Horned Frogs supporting you in your next chapter. So, Erica, how are you?
So good.
When you see Erica, you'll be blown away with Erica's segment, because you'll just be like, how does she fit it all and do it all? But you talk a little bit about experiential education, right? Can you talk about that in your experience and some of your favorite professors, and talk about, especially think like that, these high school students and their parents out there, they're trying to decide. Talk about that from a TCU perspective.
Absolutely. There's been so many things that I've gotten to do, and I feel like I'm learning something. Coming in as engineering into a liberal arts school, I was really not sure if that's what I wanted, but my parents really saw that the liberal arts education would allow me to learn about other things that weren't just my major. So, that being said, some of my favorite classes have been From Rock to Bach, which is about the history of rock. I took a class called The Genius of Hip Hop through the Honors College, and that was incredible. I actually just went on an experiential learning fall trip to Tulsa, Oklahoma to learn about history there. I also took a class to Panama to learn about water conservation efforts. And all of these things are completely, seemingly unrelated to my major in computer science, but I found that they make me a person who's more aware about history, current events, all sorts of things surrounding my existence, not only as a student, but also like as a person.
Yeah, that's so that is so awesome. And you're also in a sorority, though, correct? Do you want to talk about that? Because that's a fun, sorority and Greek life is, super fun on campus. So,
right. So there's so many different Greek organizations that anybody could join here. So we have different councils. We have the Panhellenic Council. We have Interfraternity Council. We have the Multicultural Greek Council, National Panhellenic Council, and more. And I'm actually the founding charter president of a new sorority on campus. And that is now under the Multicultural Greek Council. And what that means for me is a lot of us had to come together and work really hard to make it happen. But, we started a new sisterhood, and that's something that I really like at TCU. We went through the whole organization process, and it would not have been possible without all of my sisters, the help of student development services, fraternity and sorority life, and other organizations who also supported us. So that's literally just like students and faculty and staff supporting us. So I really love that.
And I love it when a university like supports something new, right? So if there's not an organization or if there's not something, it's like create one. That's awesome.
And I'd
Okay.
like to add too, it's not just like moral support, like you got this, but TCU really is able to also help with funding for all of these things, which is awesome because we're broke college students.
Yeah. and by the way, everyone, knows what it's like to be a broke college student. We all were there. So that's awesome. That is amazing. All right. So I got a question over for Emily. This question came in from Pandora Lee asking for a daughter. How is living on campus, quality of dorm, safety on campus? And then I believe because you're a psychology major, right? But how is that program?
Yeah.
You want to touch on that?
Absolutely. I'll hit on the first part about safety. Campus is a very safe place. There was never a point when I was on campus in my past 4 years that I've ever felt uncomfortable walking to and from the library, from my dorms, in between classes. And if you do feel a little unsafe, there are these blue safety lights that are always in your line of vision. That's something that TCU really chooses to foster is safety. So if you ever feel uncomfortable, you push that blue button, and TCU PD will respond within 30 seconds maximum. The dorms are beautiful. They've all been recently renovated. For any looking freshmen, I lived in Shirley Hall my freshman year, and it was probably one of the best experiences ever. I miss it dearly. But yes, safety is amazing. Dorms are even better. Like I don't think there's a single bad dorm on campus, which is so rare to find in a college. As for psychology, I was a psychology minor, so I didn't get to experience the full realm of the major, but the classes are super immersive, and you can get involved on the research side or the clinical side. You'll just have to talk to your counselor about that within your department. But the classes are super hands-on. I've taken a wide variety of classes ranging from how to counsel, abnormal psychology, behavioral research, a neuroscience class. There's so many opportunities there, and the professors are amazing. One of my closest professors is actually Dr. Ellen Broom. She was one of my mentors in the psychology department, and she's so supportive of every single one of her students. And they really foster a place of wanting you to grow within the psychology department as well. So whatever path you want to go down, if you want to go to grad school, they're there to help you. I don't know much. Again, I was just a minor, but from what I learned in that department, it is probably a very hands-on department, and it's a great time being in there.
So great. Just to follow up on that, yesterday I was at TCU because we had a party on campus, premiere party for this, and I went and spoke to one of the classes, and one of the thing you just hear from all the students, hey, you get the best at TCU. And I kept saying that, honestly, and I kept saying that to Burton, who's one of the executive producers who's with me. We're watching it. I think because you're around 10,000 students, correct? Ish, right? And it's so you got this big time school feel. But when you go into these class sizes, they're super small. So the faculty know your name. And so there's this very personal relationship you have. And that's a rare balance because usually you're going small school, get that, or you're going big and maybe you won't. And so I kept saying that yesterday, that I love the campus. I think it's like a perfect size school.
Yeah,
okay,
you're right, Alex. Professors do know your names. You can't skip class. They know your name. They'll know if you're missing. You can't skip class at TCU.
Yeah, that's right. And someone, I can't remember it, someone said that in one of the segments in the episode. I can't remember who, but someone was like, yeah, if you miss class, you will. Okay, so this is for Ryan, Colin, or Emily. Lisa Brown, what is the best piece of advice you can give to a freshman coming out of state to make the transition exciting and impactful? Who wants to pick that up? Or maybe all three of you guys give your own versions to that answer.
Yeah.
Let's start with Colin.
I've got one thing to add to that. I think my mom gave me a really great piece of advice when I was looking at schools that all happened to be out of state, ironically. And she said, Colin, you have to look at it as though each school is a plane ride away. It doesn't matter if it's in New York or Texas or California. Don't think, oh, well, this school is slightly closer because it's on this same coast as I am. She's like, think of it as it's all a plane ride away. It's a 3-hour flight or a 4-hour flight. And that really helped me kind of not be so fearful of going so far away, knowing that, I'm just a 3-hour flight from home. So I think that was really impactful to me.
Ryan, how about you? You're coming in from there. I feel like there's a pipeline of coming in from Southern California. People love TCU. And so you're coming in from Laguna Niguel. What was that like?
Yeah, so honestly, the transition wasn't too hard because there is a pretty big California presence on TCU's campus. You know, it's kind of like if I wanted to see people from my high school, because 15 people from my grade came here, I could totally see them. But, you know, it's like small enough where you could see them, but big enough to the point where you're not like in every class with them, like in high school. But I think that TCU does a great job with like how many opportunities there are across campus. Like there was literally so much to do. I was never bored. I was going to bed super late like freshman year every night because I was just like, oh my gosh, my friends live 2 minutes away. Oh my gosh, I could join this club. There's a mechanical bowl in the TCU campus commons. There's a big water slide. Let me hit that up before my night class. Like there is a plethora of stuff going on and it's all right there. You just have to stay connected by checking your emails, looking at the little signs across campus. Like you can literally never get bored if you're on campus because there's so much TCU does for you guys. Like we just had Flo Rida at the beginning of the semester. My favorite concert of all time, by the way.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. All right, Anaya, question for you. This comes from Margaret Ann Hudson. What does TCU provide for those looking to continue their faith at school?
Absolutely. So TCU's religious affiliation is the Disciples of Christ Christian Church, which is cool for two reasons. One, the religious affiliation, the Disciples of Christ Christian Church, is an inclusive body, and so there really isn't pressure on a style of worship or what kind of Christian you are, so to speak. Everyone is welcome, which is awesome. And it's another cool reason because it's an affiliation, not a governance. So TCU students don't have chapel requirements or anything like that on campus. We do have an on-campus chapel, which doubles as a wedding chapel, by the way, 4 years booked out. So if you're planning on meeting the love of your life, now would be the time to book it. But any religious affiliation on campus or religious organization can utilize the space for anything. I believe we have 37 different student ministries on campus with over like 60 representing 60 plus faiths, which is awesome. And of course, those ministries range from the big ones like TCU Catholic, TCU Wesleyan, where they do national conferences and things like that, to small ones. I'm involved in Chi Alpha, which stands for Christ Ambassadors. We just do Bible study in the rec center on Wednesday night. So you really kind of just fall in with your level of worship, but it's a super supportive community regardless. The C in TCU is really as big or as little as you want to make it.
That's great. I'm going to open this up to everybody. Maybe like who's up? Like, what do most students typically do on campus during their free time? Paige, class president, why don't we start with you?
I think this is a great question, and I think it goes really to what you're interested in. I know that a lot of students are active in intramurals, and those happen every week and all over campus. I know that our rec has a class pass. So if you're interested in Zumba or spin or anything of that sort, and maybe not necessarily a more traditional workout, we have options for you. When it's warm out, students go to the pool and, play pool volleyball. They sit outside. I would go all the time when I was a freshman because it was so close and just do my work out on a pool chair. And my parents would joke. They're like, do you go to college or do you like live at a resort? It's sometimes you forget. A lot of it, I think what Ryan was going to, especially as first year students, there's such a special connection between you and those also living on campus. So a lot of your time is spent popping in between everyone's rooms. There's so many restaurants within walking distance. You'd walk around, spend time in community commons. I'm so happy to see that back. But I can definitely pass it to someone else. I know that Ryan talked a lot about.
Who wants to talk about that rec center? I was walking by there last night. I actually walked through the rec center. All those outdoor volleyball courts, because you got outdoor volleyball courts, and that I don't know when that was built, but that is beautiful, like a beautiful, beautiful rec center. Who wants to talk about that?
I want to talk about the volleyball.
Who works out the most?
Yeah, go for it.
Because I'm the vice president of the club volleyball team here on campus, so I had to do a little shout out. But literally, when I was touring and I saw those, I would call them beach courts. Some people that are landlocked would say sand courts. I was like, oh yes, let's go. Like it's right behind the honors dorm on campus, and people are always there. Like whatever the temperature is, it's always packed. You got intramural sand volleyball. You got like a ton of intramurals within the rec center. You got indoor soccer, volleyball, basketball, and like there's just so much to do. We have a racquetball class. So not only can you take advantage of using our rec center for free by being a student, you can take classes like weightlifting, body conditioning, swimming, tennis, racquetball, bowling off campus if you really wanted to. Like, they really do a great job at incorporating physical health into the core curriculum.
And we have an outdoor pool. Not every university can say that. We have an indoor pool in the rec center and then an outdoor pool. So I spend many a Sunday afternoons chilling poolside, studying.
Yeah, it's Texas. It's nice weather in Texas, you know. So it's
and shameless plug for student government too. A lot of students, in their own ways, get involved, and they're a part of just about every part of campus, working with professors or faculty. If you see something you'd like to see on campus, I think this was mentioned, the staff and faculty at TCU are more than willing and excited to help you get it. So if you get to campus and you feel like, I'd love to see, I guess we do have a jujitsu class, but if you'd love to see some wacky class or something of the sort, you can definitely be heard, and they'll try to make that happen.
Oh, that's great. So great. All right, this is for anyone, but Emily, we haven't heard from you in a little bit, so let's go to you. This person, Amy Quintel, wondering how your freshman course load at TCU compared to your high school course load. Great question. And then we'll start with you, but anyone else can chime into this.
Yeah, please. Anyone else feel welcome to. The TCU workload. So when you do sign up for classes your freshman year, TCU kind of puts a cap on 18 hours. And even if you want to take 18 hours, which usually is around 6 different classes, you have to get special approval. So we kind of hope that you stay within the 12 to 15 hours. You're taking 4 to 5 classes a week. It's really doable. I didn't realize my high school was great and prepared me very well, but being able to have like 2-hour gaps in between classes was kind of amazing because you have a bit more work to do, but luckily being in college, it gives you the time to do so. You have more breaks during the day. You're not going from 8 to 3 or 8 to 4 every day. But it's also what you make of it. So some classes will be a bit more work heavy than others, and that's more than fine. And also, especially if you're involved in the honors college, you will have a bit more of a heavier workload, but it's kind of what you make of it. So if you guys end up deciding to come to TCU, all the prospective students that are watching, you're going to go through an orientation over the summer, and you'll have current students will be there guiding you through the class sign-up process, and just feel free to ask them more questions. But the TCU classwork for your freshman year, they're not trying to overwhelm you at all, and they want to make sure that you're being eased into the college program, but you're also going to be challenged as well, because that's what TCU does best.
Anybody else? That was beautiful. Anyone else? Anything to add? All right. Colin or Naya, one of you mentioned resources like the Writing Center. Which one mentioned that? But can we talk about the official tutoring on campus?
Yeah, you got this, Anaya.
Of course. So I'll speak a little bit on the Writing Center and then also on tutoring on campus. The Writing Center and our Math Tutoring Center are 2 official tutoring centers on campus where you can work with faculty members as well as upperclassmen mentor students, so to speak. In the Writing Center, they help with revision, editing, topic generation, and they guarantee to raise papers up a letter grade. Me personally, definitely had a chip on my shoulder coming into college. I scored 5s in my AP writing. I was a journalism major, didn't think I need those guys. But I submitted one paper, got a big fat D, very insulting. So I went to the Writing Center, sat down with someone, and like clockwork, I started getting A's on my paper. And for me, it was just grammatical stuff or catching my structure, because if you weren't taught APA Chicago format in high school, these guys do not care. They're still going to grade you on APA Chicago format. So it really helped having an actual faculty member who, in theory, could have been grading this paper, look over it before submitting it for a final grade. Same way with the Math Tutoring Center. It's free Monday to Friday, 8 to 5 p.m. And you can just pop in there at any point to get some help from an actual professor. Then as far as tutoring, every professor has a list in every class that you will take at TCU of recommended tutors, which will likely be an upperclassman student or someone that's taken that class in that major. So that's also a super cool resource. In TCU, as far as I know, the like hard classes on campus, so your biologies, your calculus, your anatomy and physiology for our nursing students, they also have several group studying sessions that'll be offered throughout the year in those departments. So there's a lot of different ways that you can get some help, whether it's from a peer, a student, or a faculty member on campus.
Very impressive. Awesome. Amazing. Ryan, let's go over to you with this question. How does TCU support their students throughout their time on campus?
Yeah, so I mean, by being a first year on TCU, like you're connected before your first day of school. So there are a few programs that we have over the summer. As Anaya said, you start with orientation, where you are paired up with people from your major, orientation leaders, which are upperclassmen, and you get to meet your advisor if you've declared a major. So you've met those people. And then you have Frog Camp, which is highly recommended. I wish it was mandatory because it's that good. Definitely go. It's small groups, so you get to meet like around 10 other people, and you have an upperclassman, you have a guy, a girl, and you have a faculty or staff member. So you have 3 more resources, and it doesn't stop there. Then you have Frogs First, which is your time right before your first day of class, where they do the icebreakers for you. Your group is comprised of the people you live around. So you already get to meet everyone that you're living by, sharing a bathroom with, and you have some more upperclassmen taking care of y'all. So they give you all these resources and help you meet all these people before your first day of school. And there's also a counseling center on campus, right in the commons in the center of campus. So if you ever wanted to go to that, you could definitely do that. That's a great resource available. So, I mean, TCU really does have your back while you're here.
Yes, they do. All right, so I think we're kind of winding down to our time, but I think I got an idea for us to end this. All right, I'm going to start this off. We're all going to answer the same question. Ryan, you're going to be put on the spot first just because that's where the order of this is. If you were going to give, because it's funny, and this is actually perfect for you because your younger brother now is going to TCU, correct? Right?
Heck
So
yeah.
if you were going to give advice of why yourself back in high school should go to TCU, what would you tell yourself?
I would say that TCU is not just a school, it's an experience. What you put into it, you get out of it. There is so much that TCU has for you that the community wants you to be a part of, that's like you just can't go wrong. Like you're going to find your group at TCU in your classes with your major, and you're going to love Fort Worth. There's so much to do. It's constantly growing. Go to the zoo, go downtown, like be involved, like take advantage of your experience while you have it.
Yeah. Don't be scared to go to the stockyards and jump on a bull like you did in the episode.
Right?
Paige, what would you say to your younger self?
I think this is a great question. Ryan, I couldn't agree more with everything you had said. I think specifically to me, what was really interesting is how different I imagined myself as a rising senior in high school versus where I am today. I think that if you go into TCU with an open mind, you're really going to find yourself presented with so many opportunities and people, and you will truly be able to become the best version of yourself. And I don't want that to sound gimmicky at all. I came into TCU, I was undecided in my major. I changed my major, I think 3 times in the first semester just because I thought that I had to, and I had no idea what I was doing. And it wasn't until I met upperclassmen that really invest in you. And I don't see that happening as much at other universities that really helped push and guide me. And I think that if I were talking to senior Paige, I would say, trust your gut, go for it, and be open to the opportunity because you will be so pleasantly surprised at where you find yourself 4 years later. It's kind of amazing to look back and think about it.
That's so great. All right, Colin, we're going to kick that same question over to you.
Yeah, it's funny even thinking about this because now my younger sister is going through the college application process and embarking on that. So I'm reliving it for the second time. But I think the ultimate selling point for me would be, and you kind of alluded to this earlier, Alex, but the size. I mean, we are that perfect smaller mid-sized university. And I always walk across campus and I'm going to see a couple familiar faces and people I can say hello to. But it's also big enough that I will never know everybody and can always meet some more people. So you really have the best of both worlds of that kind of in-state large public school and the itty-bitty private school of 2,000 to 5,000 students. You kind of get a mix and a taste of both. So that sells it for me.
Oh, that's great. That's awesome. Emily, you're talking to yourself back in Georgia. You're in high school. What are you saying? What are you saying?
First, I'll say it's just a plane flight. Get over it. And I did. But I agree with what everyone said so far. TCU is such a hidden gem, and I am so grateful to have been able to find it. It is exactly what everyone's been saying, the big school feel, but it's a small school setting. You will always see a familiar face on campus. There's so many opportunities to get involved, whether it's with your faith or in athletics or just any type of group you want to become a part of, like it's available to you. And the professors are so amazing. They support you. They are so excited for what the future holds for you. And I think one of the last things I could say about this is you really only get 4 years. You don't want to waste them. And the best way to not waste them is to end up at TCU in Fort Worth.
Very well said. Very well said. Anaya, let's wrap this up with you. You know, you went right to school right down the street. You found your hidden gem in your own hometown. What do you say to yourself who's questioning going to school right in their own backyard?
I think this is a funny question because I did not want to go to TCU for that reason. I had been on campus my entire life, and so I was like, absolutely not. I'm getting the heck out of here. But I think I spent a lot of time in high school pent up on names and reputations of schools and what sounded good. But what I would tell my high school self is that what you learn in the classroom is essentially a dime a dozen. You can get that anywhere. What's going to set you apart is the relationships that you've built in your time in college, that professional network that you'll surround yourself with. And I don't think that there's a better place that you can get that than at TCU. And obviously that's a biased opinion, but kind of piggybacking off what Colin said, you get that big state school spirit, those resources. But my journalism class I'm in right now has 6 people, including myself. So you have that very personal connection with your professors who are working in the industry that I'm trying to pursue post-grad. And so it can't get better than that. And that's why TCU ended up being the perfect place for me.
Well, I mean this, like, first of all, for you all, like, thank you for each one of you for being part of the college tour. I mean, you represent the school so well, and just so the audience that's out there, you know, you're just meeting 5. There's 10,000 people like them, and they're just everyone I met on campus, from the students to alumni to the faculty. Everyone's so nice, and it was just a pleasant experience. So thank you for being part of the college tour. Thank you for being part of this live stream, and for everyone out there, please check out TCU's episode. You can watch at thecollegetour.com, the College Tour app, the streaming channel, and in early November, you'll be able to watch on Amazon Prime, IMDb, and a number of other channels.